morning. Today is February 23rd, and this is The View with Catherine Chang. Today's topic is the Sanzhong case and 2024 presidential election. First, I want to tell you about what is the Sanzhong case. The Sanzhong case refers to three companies that originally owned by KMT and were sold in 2005 because KMT promised to the public that they will kind of sell the party-owned media companies. And the Sanzhong are three companies that started with the word China. They are Zhongguang Broadcasting Corporation of China, Zhongshi China Television Company, and Zhongying China Film Group Corporations. In Mandarin, three is pronounced as San, and China is pronounced as Zhong, and that is why we call the case the Sanzhong case. And the Taiwan, we'll talk about the Taiwan court summoned the owner of Zhongguang Broadcasting Company, Zhao Shaokang, for the first time yesterday. Zhao Shaokang announced that he's going to run for the 2024 presidential election. On the other hand, we know that the former president Ma Ying-jeou was also accused in the case. Here are some points. A, in Zhongguang's case, Ma Ying-jeou was the chairman of KMT at that time, but he didn't include the deal in their Central Standing Committee for discussion. And there were two buyers at that time. One is the former KMT chairman, Zhu Lilun's father-in-law, Gao Yuren, and this is Gao Yuren. He was one of the buyers. And the other is a TV host. We're talking about Zhao Shaokang. And why did Zhongguang end up being sold to Zhao Shaokang? Was there any violation of the principle of public transactions? Especially, that a person who was in charge of the deal, the former general manager of Zhongtou Central Investment Holding Company, Wang Haiqing, well, he recorded the whole meeting. And this might be unfavorable for former President Ma Ying-jeou. B, Zhao Shaokang paid $1 billion for Zhongguang Broadcasting Company, and this kind of aroused two controversies. First, how can he pay $1 billion NT by installments? And second, the property of Zhongguang, which is worth like $4.7 billion NT, was not sold to Zhao Shaokang, but it was put under his name. Therefore, people started to wonder why he has such a privilege. And this whole thing became really weird. C, what's more interesting is that Zhao Shaokang suddenly announced he will run for the presidential elections before the core summit. People wonder why he did that, especially there are still 3 years to go before the election. Could the Sanzhong case be the reason? Well, actually, there are some major elections in Taiwan to look into. The KMT will hold a chairman elections this July, and there will be mayoral elections in 2022 and a presidential elections in 2024. What will happen? We will wait and see. Here are the top stories. Today, we have 0 confirmed cases. Well, first, I want to talk about that China calls for a reset, but U.S. say Beijing is trying to avert blame. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi urged Washington to respect China's core interests, stop smearing the ruling Communist Party, stop interfering in Beijing's internal affairs, and stop conniving with separatist forces for Taiwan's independence. However, the U.S. State Department spokesperson Ned Price rebutted and said that his comments reflect a continued pattern of Beijing's tendency to avert blame for its predatory economic practice, where it lack of transparencies and its failure to honor its international agreements and the repression of universal human rights. On the other hand, Taiwan swears in new national security officials today, and the new China Affairs Council Minister Chiu Tai-san said in the ceremony that, during the post-pandemic period, I hope to see Taiwan and China will have further development of cross-strait relations. In addition, I'm committed to protect Taiwan's sovereignty and the democracy we have. Also, there is a major breakthrough for Taiwan-U.S. relationship. For the first time, we know that Taiwan and U.S. representatives to the WTO meet together at Taiwan office. Well, Taiwan's representative to the WTO,罗昌发, posted on Twitter and saying that we are pleased to have a nice discussion with the U.S. on many WTO issues and glad to know the U.S. kind of re-emphasize the importance of multilateralism, and we look forward to working together on WTO reform to safeguard the organizations and strengthen our bilateral relations. However, former President Ma Ying-jeou criticized the U.S. as a seventh fleet passed through the Taiwan Strait, and he said that the actions of U.S. Navy's seventh fleet in the region are a kind of negations of Taiwan's territorial sovereignty. And we know that the DPP rebuts President Ma. We know that spokespersons say that what President Ma said is not kind of coherent to the understanding between Taiwan and the U.S. In addition, the comment we're talking about will make it kind of ambiguous for the international society to distinguish the difference between an ally and an adversary. On the other hand, the U.S. President Joe Biden leads the nation in mourning 500,000 U.S. COVID-19 deaths. He said in his address, "We ask you to join us to remember so we can heal and to find purpose and the work ahead to show that there is light in the darkness. This nation will smile again. This nation will know sunny days again. This nation will know joy again." I want to say, fight on America and fight on Taiwan for the COVID-19. And this is The View with Catherine Chang. This is Catherine from Taipei. I'll see you again.